Well, hello there. It's me, Wally, for Exit Realty Front and Center. Listen, I'm trying a new microphone out today, so let me know if you can hear me or you can't, or if I seem to be a little distorted. Let me know here. Can you do that? Yeah. Justin, how are you? Justin, can you hear me? Do I sound distorted? Is the microphone okay? Justin Meeker, my friend from over at Howard Hanna. It's called Ask the Realtor Live at Lunch. Hey, guys, it's me, Wally, my coworker over here. Alan says, yeah, I can hear you too. So, listen, hey, I'm here. It's called Ask the Realtor Live at Lunch. We've asked for your questions. If you have a question, make sure you type it down into the comment bar down below, and I will try to get to them. So, here's what I'm asking this morning. First thing, by the way, guys, pay attention. Justin and Faye and whoever else may be chiming in now. I'm trying this brand new microphone out here. So let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can't hear me. Let me know if it's distorted other than my usual. So let me know how this is going, okay? Please do so. So it's called Ask the Realtor Live at Lunch. So we got some things we want to talk about today. By the way, I want to put a big shout out, by the way, to the Schnagel Forks cheerleading squad. Congratulations, by the way. They were named like queens of the ball, I guess, lately. So they won the local championship. They won the Section 4. James, it sounds okay? Good. Thanks, James. Apparently, Justin and Faye are asleep at the wheel here. So congratulations, girls. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I think you're heading to Disney World. I think that's what's going on. Also, the UE cheer squad. Thanks. You guys did a great job, too. So I can hear you loud and clear. Hey, thanks, Fag, for chiming in. So here's a couple of things we're going to be talking about today. Some things for sellers, some things for buyers, and a few thoughts of my own here in this half-hour deal, just so you know. So pay attention. Here we go. And, yes, I know my sold sign is a little on the crooked side, wherever it is. So pre-listing inspection, yes or no? When you're selling your house, when you're putting your house on the market, should you get one or should you not? Now, most people are going to try to get out and say, I want to pay as little as I have to. The buyers are going to have a listing or a inspection anyway, so they're paying for it. Why should I have to do one? Well, maybe here's the reason to do so. Goodwill, maybe. Perhaps maybe you can find out some issues before you put the house on the market rather than afterwards. So some things that you may have to deal with down the road. Sometimes people say, hey, it's better that I know sooner rather than maybe later. So what happens if it turns up serious issues? Do you have to disclose them? Well, yeah, you do. You can't hide material defects in your house. If you do, guess what? Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. You could maybe get yourself sued. So here's the deal. Should you get a pre-listing inspection? It's really up to you. Listen, I'm telling my people that it's probably a good idea. It's better to be able to fix things beforehand than later on when you're frantic, you're busy trying to get yourself stuff ready, you're trying to maybe plan on getting your house sold or moving to your next destination. So should you get the pre-listing thing? It's really up to you. I'm going to tell you, buyers like it. Why? Because sometimes it saves them money. And on the other hand, too, by the way, just so you know, and FYI, is that sometimes if you lay out that pre-listing inspection report, the buyers are going to say, yeah, I don't have to pay for maybe one of mine. Maybe we just won't do this. And here's the other thing. A lot of time, home inspection companies will give you a little bit of a break on the price. So do you really want to have to pay for one up front? 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Listen, if I was going to be selling my house, I think I would like to have one. That way I know. You know what? You say you know everything about your house. You probably don't. You probably forgot a lot of stuff. It's amazing at how much stuff people live with that they don't even know is in their house, you know, and because they walk past it every day. And when you're going out and doing your listing presentation, like I do, I'll do this a little bit later on this afternoon with somebody out in Endicott. So what do? So you go and you walk in the house. I do, and immediately I'm walking around, and all of a sudden my eyes will go, oh, yeah, we were wondering if you're going to notice it. Well, of course we're going to notice it. And if we notice it, so will the buyer. So why don't you try to get things fixed beforehand rather than later? Makes more sense to me if you do, but that's kind of up to you. Speaking of inspections, how do you handle a home inspection issue? Well, there's a couple of different ways you can do it. First of all, listen to your real estate professional. They're supposed to know what they're talking about, and your home inspector, who's a licensed home inspector, not Johnny Walker that lives down in the camper trailer down by the river, who happens to do carpentry work on the side. Always nice to listen to them. That's why they live in the van down by the river. But speaking of inspections, so it's really important that you and your sales rep keep a nice level head when going through the home inspections. I know a lot of times when you go through and you've been busy saying, hey, look, we're going through the price and we're trying to negotiate price, and once the price is all settled, then we're all done. We're not done yet. We have more negotiations to go along, and sometimes it gets even more heated with the inspections, because now you got to pull money out of your pocket to get things fixed so the buyer can stay close to the vest and be able to, maybe buy this house. You don't want the buyer running away. So you're, how much do I spend? How much do I don't spend? I've actually been in negotiation before. I've sat down with my seller and say, hey, we've got this and this and this. And they go, we'll fix everything. We'll fix everything. I'm like, whoa, hang on, cowboy. Maybe you don't have to fix everything. Maybe we can fix some of the things and leave it to them to fix later on. And that's the whole thing about the whole home inspection report. When you get it, sometimes it'll be thick, maybe not that thick, but it'll be a thick report of reds and greens and yellows, and here's some safety issues. Of course, we want those things fixed right away. But however, there are some things that are, I want to say everything's important in the home inspection report. Don't get me wrong here, but things take priority. There are certain things that are tens that say we need to get these things fixed today, and someone else is going to have to pay for that, not me, Mr. Buyer, or things that we can maybe fix down the road. So, question for you. On the buyer side of it, the same thing. So let's flip the home inspection over. Okay, you as the seller are presented with things to say this is what we want to have fixed. From the buyer standpoint, you get the home inspection report and you have all those reds and yellows and greens, and you go, oh my gosh, the house is going to burn down before we even get in there. Maybe we should just run away from this. Listen, no, almost everything in that inspection report, almost everything can be fixed. That's why we have home repair people. That's why we have electricians, and we have plumbers, and we've got carpenters. We got all the people that we need. We have roofers. We got all those people that we need to be able to make an informed decision on whether to buy this house. And I'm going to tell you, I've got all those right here in my phone, so I don't have to go on Facebook and go in search of blah, 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 in search of somebody to dig a hole in the yard. I've got everything in my phone here. So what do you do with that information? Well, I'll give you a case in point. Something happened rather recently where I had a deal going. Okay, inspection report came back from the buyer and the buyer's agent, and they found that there was bacteria in the water. Oh my God, we need to run away from it. The water is bad. It's contaminated. We got to go away. Get me out of here. I can't get out of here fast enough. Well, here's the issue. Can that be fixed? Yes, it can be. You need to have level heads on all this stuff, because you know what? These things can be fixed. And I'm here to tell you that most wells and houses that have been kind of shut up for a little bit, probably going to have some issue with it. So what do? You chlorinate the well. It's a pretty easy fix. It costs you under $100 to be able to get that stuff done and get it retested, maybe $100. Or if you know how to do it yourself, maybe the cost of a couple of gallons of Clorox, if you know how to do it right. And it won't hurt you. It'll clean your pipes. Everything will be fine. But it's no reason really to run away from a good house and a good deal that you had just because of that. But you need to talk to the right people and be able to say, hey, can this be fixed, and what can we do to make this happen? Okay, so this is all about making a business decision, buying a house, selling a house. So what's the best way to be able to make this happen? So you know what? And it's always about who's in your phone and what are the professionals you need to do you need to kind of contact to be able to make that happen. So what are some other issues that come up with home inspections? Many times, wells are big things. Why? because they're out there. And, sometimes there's coliform. And, the big thing you always hear about, that whole E. coli thing going on with lettuce someplace. I don't know how lettuce gets poop on it, but it happens. So, but with a well, it's because maybe farmland's been by or rodents, or it wasn't capped properly or whatever. And the people that have been living in the house have been drinking the water forever. And so far they're still standing upright and doing okay. I'm not to put it down, not to downplay any of this stuff. The water should be clean. Can we get it fixed? Yes, we can get it fixed. And it's really, really, really easy to do. So there's no reason to really run away from a deal just because of that. What are some other issues? A lot of times there are electrical issues. So how bad are the electrical issues? A lot of times there's double tap breakers. What's that all about? I have an electrician. I don't really know. I think it's a couple of wires in the same spot that should be bolted in together outside. I'm not an electrician, but I got to tell you, my electrician, my master electrician, gets it all fixed every single time. And it doesn't cost a lot of money to get it done. Easy fix. What else? Outlets that are polarized the wrong way. I don't know what that means. I just know the little light pops in. I just think that the hot and the neutral wire are backwards. Does everything still work? Sure. Is that going on throughout my house? Probably, because I did a lot of wiring in my house. If you're in my insurance company, you didn't hear that. So can you get that fixed? Yes, it's easy to do. What about grounding outlets? A lot of times we have houses, right? The older houses, they've got only the 2-prong outlets, not the 3-prong outlets. Can you maybe get them all put together so you have a good neutral on them? Many times, yeah. But you know what? Here's the thing. Don't take my word for it. Get a licensed electrician to come in and give you an honest estimate on what can be done and get it fixed. Okay? It's just as simple as that. It's all about who you know. You've heard that before, right? That's a big saying. It's not, who you are, but it's who you know. Truly, that is the big deal right there. It's called Ask the Realtor Live at Lunch. Hey, if you got a question, write it down in the comment bar. I'm going to try to come through and see if I got anybody here. Kathleen is listening in the other office down the road here. And my friend Greg, Rick, how are you? Rick the electrician, by the way. And we've got Karen and John and Dennis. And hey, guys, thanks for joining today. Stacy, Mark, how are you? So listen, it's all about who you know and who you have to be able to help you make these decisions. Why? Because I, number one, am not an electrician. I'm not a plumber. I'm not a septic guy. I don't know any of this stuff. I don't know how to fix most of that stuff. But I can tell you, I know most of the people who can get it done for you and will give you an honest estimate and get the work done quickly. Won't break the bank, and you know it's going to be done right the first time. There you go. Appraisals. So after you get, and this is for both buyer and seller, by the way. So appraisals. From the seller standpoint, I hear this a lot. So we had an appraisal on the house. I know we want to list the house. I want to list it at $155,000. We had an appraisal came in 2 years ago for $175,000. So I think we can get the house sold quick at $155,000. Well, was the appraisal for a home equity loan, or was it because you need to refinance your house? What was it for? The appraisers are going to tell you it doesn't make a difference. Real estate professionals such as myself, we're going to tell you, yeah, it does make a difference. We do not see eye to eye on that many times. Why? Because they're appraisers and we're the ones out there trying to get your house sold. And we know, we all know what the market is. I don't want to get myself in trouble with appraisers, and I don't want Becky Jones calling me right now, even though I love her. But the deal is a lot of times I think that people will come through with home equity loan appraisals and they'll say, hey, this is what my house is worth. Is an appraisal going to help you sell your house? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. You can leave it out there, but people are only going to pay, they're only going to offer you what they think your house is worth. So what's the appraisal worth? Well, the appraisal is worth hey, here's a good thing. Here's what my house is worth. Well, I'm only going to pay here. So that's what you're going to get from this person, whoever it may be. But are appraisals good to have? Sometimes, yes. Sometimes if we come out and say, hey, your house is worth this much money and you think your house is worth this, it's good to get that other opinion in there. But appraisals are not really fair market value, nor are assessed values, just so you know. Everybody thinks they're one and the same, but it depends. On pricing your house, it depends. There's like a thing on this microphone. Maybe I don't like it there. So your house is only worth what anybody in a given day is going to be able to pay for your house. In the day and age of saying, hey, somebody from New York City is going to come up with deep pockets and pay 300% over the cost of the fair market value of your house, that's not probably going to happen. I mean, there's a chance, but it's probably not going to happen. So when the other thing here is that I want to throw in here is that assessed value that people always talk about. People get these mixed up, by the way. Appraisals and assessed values, appraisals and home inspections. Appraisals and home inspections are different things. I'm going backwards a little bit. You know, after you have the home inspection, that's one thing, but you have the appraisal. The appraiser is going to come in and make sure your house is worth what it's worth, and they're going to be able to say yes or no to the value of the loan based on what you're applying for and all that stuff. But they're also going to go through and look for certain things depending on the type of loan, whether it's FHA or VA loan or USDA loan, whether there's open junction boxes, whether there is handrails that need to be up, certain safety issues. So that's kind of a second inspection you may have to do. So that's all I want to talk about on that side with the appraisals, just so you know. But a lot of times buyers will come out. Let's talk about assessed value. Okay, let's come around and say, what is assessed value? Well, if you're in the town, we'll say, I don't know, town of Chenango, where I'm sitting right now. The town says, this is how much money we need. They come up with a figure. This is our budget for 2020. We need to have $4.8 million or whatever it may be, and I'm just throwing the figure out, to be able to run what we have to run, to be able to pay for road and sewer. We got to pay for keep the lights on. We got to pay for, the office staff. We got to pay for Tammy to be up there with the supervisor and whatever she does every day. But we have to be able to pay our bills. So they come out and say, this is what our bills are going to be for the year. Now they go backwards and figure out how they're going to make that happen. And it's called taxing. So how much property taxes are they putting on your house? Are your tax assessment, are your taxes going to go up a little bit, go down a little bit? So that's where you get the taxes from, just so you know. That's why you have to pay taxes. So your house taxes that you pay are based on the assessed value of your house. Is the assessed value of your house what the fair market value is? Yeah, yes and no, maybe, sometimes, maybe not. How is that for an answer? Well, here's the thing. The assessor's probably not been in your house. So they don't really know what the quality and condition is inside your house. They may not know that you have granite countertops. They may not know that you have just put in a brand new oak staircase. They may not know that your oak staircase that you've had has broken down and no one can go up to the second level. They don't know anything of it. So that's why you need people like ourselves, real estate professionals, to go out to your house and give you what we think is going to be the fair market value to get your house sold in a fair amount of time. Okay. So people will come out a lot of times and you get a buyer and they'll say, hey, I see here that the assessed value on this is $130,000. Why are they selling it for $177,000? Well, number one, because they can. Number two, it may be the value of the house. Just that simple. What about Zestimates? How true are those? How true is Zillow when it comes to valuing your house? They're not. That's my easy answer. So is the Zestimate sort of a myth, a mystery? Is it some sort of, throwing spaghetti against the wall and hope something hits? Kind of. I mean, they use an algorithm taking into account, the square footage and all that kind of stuff of your house and, what has sold lately. And they've done some of that stuff. But take it with a grain of salt. Use it as one little piece in your toolbox to be able to price your house. Or if you're going to buy the house, also use it as a tool for yourself. I'm here to tell you, sellers, by the way, home sellers, that buyers will be going by your house and they're going to look up your Zestimate. Why? Because it's easily obtainable for them. Why? Because everybody's got one of these dumb things in their pocket and they're able to do so, right? So use that as one thing. But your Zestimate and what the actual true value of your house on the fair market is going to be are maybe two totally different things. So, hey, listen, if you want more information, you can find out more at my website. You can get a hold of me. Certainly you can do that by simply texting Wally Sells to 85377. Wally Sells to 85377. You can also look me up at my website. It's simple. It's my catchphrase, WallyGetsItDone.com. All right? So let's talk about a few more things before we go today. I'm not sure I like this microphone here. It seems to cast a shadow on things when I'm over there. So how do we determine real home value? Well, we just talked about it. You need to have a real estate professional such as myself, or somebody else from my office or another real estate office come out to your house and say, hey, this is what we think the fair market value for your house is going to be. And they're going to ask you certain questions like, what's your time frame? How soon do you want to get it sold? Why are you moving? All that kind of stuff, because that really kind of goes down into the value and how quick and what your motivation is to get you out of here. Just because you want to sell your house and the fair market value is this doesn't mean that that's really what you're going to get. I mean, it could be the fair market value, but here's the other thing. If you've got to be in Arizona next week or next month because you got a new job there and you want to get your house sold before you go, well, guess where your value goes? You want to put your price down below. You want to be the best buy on the block. You want to have your house discounted, be able to get out there and get it sold if you've got the room and the motivation left to be able to do that. So there you go. So speaking of that, that was the motivation on how to determine real home value. We're going to jump back to the buyer side now a little bit again. They're going to be looking at this estimate before they go into your house. So they're trying to get a kind of a determination as to where they can afford. And they're thinking in their mind, well, yeah, here's what it says on Zillow. It says that I can pay $465 a month for this $250,000 house. Let's go buy it because we're spending more than that in rent. Here's what's not there. They haven't probably figured in taxes, and they probably haven't figured in insurance. And do you know, is it in a flood zone or not? And what is the flood zone rate for that? If it is, how much money are you going to have to pay? Are there homeowners association fees, or are there association fees or lake association fees? All that stuff is not determined probably within that number. Why? Because they want to give you the lowest number they possibly can. Why? Because that's how they make money, by getting people like myself to buy zip codes to get you to call, and it's a big vicious circle. So eventually you'll probably give me or somebody else a call to be able to go and see this house. So how do you determine exactly how much you can afford? You get pre-qualified. Buyers, you got to get pre-qualified. Now, that's a sticky subject sometimes, or almost all the time. When we get somebody who calls us through Zillow or Realtor.com or through my website, and someone I've never met in my life says, hey, can we go out and see this house this weekend? Sure. What are you pre-qualified for? Well, I'm fine. I'm fine to buy a house because my credit's really good, and I bought a truck recently. Okay, I get that. Getting pre-qualified is going to allow you to understand this on how much house you can buy. They're going to tell you, hey, you can buy a house up to $150,000 or up to $125,000 or up to $300,000. You don't know. When I first went out to go buy a house, they said, are you pre-qualified? I said, yes, we're good to go. I didn't give them any paperwork. They didn't ask me. I went out and I just plowed ahead and started looking at houses. Well, when I finally went to check, I couldn't get a house then. That was years ago, by the way. I've cleaned up my act since then. But the second time that we did this in earnest, and we did get pre-qualified, and we got the numbers, and we found out, hey, I had some stuff that I had to clean up before I got to buying that house. So I was able to get from point A to being able to be a buyer, a bona fide buyer, in about 6 months. And that was about 25 years ago, just so you know. And those things haven't changed. Getting pre-qualified allows you not to waste any time, not to waste your time, not to waste your real estate professional's time. Nobody wants to hear the bad numbers, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. But you may find out that you're better off than what you think. And because you're pre-qualified up to $225,000, does that mean you got to go that high? No, it doesn't. What it means is that you're able to be qualified to buy up to that amount. And they do include the taxes, and the bank does include the insurance, and the bank does include all the other stuff that we've just been talking about to make sure that you can make that payment. And at the end of the day, does it really matter? Do you have to know if you need to get an FHA loan or USDA or conventional loan or any of these things? Do you have to know any of that? No, the bank people, the lenders will tell you where they think you fit best. And then they'll tell you, hey, can you afford this much money a month? Is that including my taxes? It is. Is that including my insurance? Yeah, sure is. Well, yeah, I can do that. Or no, I can't. I'd like it to be $20 less a month. Maybe the bank person will come back and say, well, can you afford to have a little less coffee a month? Maybe, maybe not. They'll figure this thing out. Then that's what we do. We take that with us and we go out hunting. So what happens if we bag the house the very first day and you're not pre-qualified? We may not get the house, because when we turn the offer in, we need to have that pre-qualification letter with us. And if we don't have that pre-qualification letter, then we really can't turn in the offer for that. We can turn it in. They'll probably turn us down. So anyway, one last thing before I go here, guys. I know I've been kind of rambling all over the place. We've got some other things going on in here at the office today. So when you hire your real estate professional, you want to make sure that you leave a lot of the things that need to get done into his or her hands. Rogue One is a good movie. Being a Rogue One is not so good. And what I mean by that is there are many people that are out there listening right now who are very proactive in getting things done. That's what they do in their life. That's what they do in their job. They just run and they get there. I'm one of those people. When you do that, when you're entrusting your home purchase or home sale to your real estate professional and you start going off and doing things off on your own, you may end up just circumventing some of the things that are going on behind the scenes. As a buyer and a buyer's agent, between myself and all the people involved in our process on your home deal, there's over 250 pieces of paper or correspondences that are going back and forth between each other. And everybody's got to be kept in the loop. That's why we work with some of the same people that we work with, because we all work as a team, even though we're not in this office, but we're working as a team in my office and at the mortgage department and at the home inspectors and at the attorney's office. And everybody that we need work as a group to get your home purchase or your home sale done. And when you're acting as Rogue One, you're running off, and now we have to kind of follow behind you and try to clean it up and try to make things happen. And sometimes, many times, that ends up hurting us down the road. So if you have any questions, you can certainly, leave it up to me. Give me a call here. You can DM me here, just so you know. I am Wally. People know me as Wally. My real name, Weslie VanVoorhis, and I am licensed associate real estate broker, Exit Realty Front and Center. We're here at 1163 Front Street, Suite number 2, Binghamton, New York. My cell is 725-1446. Don't forget, you can hit me up on YouTube under Wally VanVoorhis or Weslie VanVoorhis. Got that going. WallyGetsItDone.com, or you can certainly text my mobile business card at Wally Sells at 85377. I'll talk to you guys next week. And if you happen to have a question you want me to bring up during this half-hour segment, which has gone a little long today, make sure you do me a favor and DM me, okay? Hey, it's called Ask the Realtor live at lunch. Go Forks. Congratulations. We're going to Disney World.